Happy Easter, everyone. Hello and welcome to What Are You Saying? Hashtag Ways, where we talk about topics in the news as it affects us all. I am Osayome Saleh, and today Manny and I are flying solo. Hi, Manny.
Hi, Owa.
How you doing?
Fine, thank you. Not bad at all. How are you?
What's good? I'm good. I'm good. I'm in a good place.
I like that. You're in a good place. Do you want to share?
Well, maybe when we start to talk about the matter of today, I might just chip in one or two, but it's a good feeling to have absolute clarity as to what you want as a human being. It just helps to keep you guarded,
Focused.
guided, and focused.
I like that.
I'm telling you. So it's a beautiful feeling. I'm looking forward to resuming my school tours where I counsel young people. Because that clarity, you can't trade that for anything in the world. If you have clarity as to what you're doing, you won't be so bothered about, so many things.
Yeah, because it gives you this sense of liberty. You just feel that you can fly. And I like that.
Yeah, I like that word. And
Yeah.
honestly, I'm about to fly.
Fly!
Well, how was your week? It's Friday.
Oh, my week has been very good. Very, very good. Like today, public holiday, so we had to rest.
And Manny now calls me up that, well, are we on the show today?
Yeah, because I thought we were going to be holidaying. Today
Welcome
is
to the
Good
media
Friday.
The media does not holiday.
I see. Now I see. So I had to program my mind like, okay, fine, you're going to rest till this time, and then you start getting ready to go to TV. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you look amazing, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You too.
I love the combination.
I also love the shoulder thingy.
Yeah, that's my assets.
I know.
Blunt it. But my sister actually gave me this lovely dress. She said, "Well, I don't like it. It's your style." I said, "Thank you. Please bring it."
You're looking peng. Let me say what they just used.
Yes, so
now.
Pengo. Thank you so much. So today we're discussing off of the back of the domestic violence case that's been ongoing, because on Ways we try to find practical solutions, right? And as to certain challenges, so we don't just want to just talk about it. We want to be able to see how we can walk a lot of people step by step, how you can do certain things, to get yourself out of those murky situations.
Yes.
And we're discussing we're discussing how you can approach domestic violence, financially and legally. And here's what we found as today's quote: "You are in a relationship to be happy, to smile, to laugh, and to make good memories, not to be constantly upset, to feel hurt, or to cry." This is from Anonymous. I mean, when you hear people that I'm in a marriage, I'm in a this, I'm in a that, it shouldn't be all blood, tears, and all of that. If you are not in a relationship that makes you happy, that makes you excited, looking forward to going back home and all of that, my dear, you're in the wrong place.
Yeah, because there's something we say, especially in this part of the world, we actually have this belief that marriage is supposed to be endured, not enjoyed. So that's what
I hate that phrase when you say, your children are involved, just manage now. The person is 6 feet under.
Oh, honestly,
it's a sad situation, but we keep on talking about it, because when things like this happen, we're supposed to learn lessons from them. And if anybody's in an abusive relationship, now is your time. Don't think mine will be different. The person that kills somebody did not plan to kill the person.
Yeah.
Sometimes things just happen. All right, so domestic violence, also called domestic abuse or family violence, is violence or other abuse that occurs in a domestic setting, such as in a marriage or cohabitation. Domestic violence is often used as a synonym for intimate partner violence, which is committed by one of the people in an intimate relationship against the other person, and can take place in either heterosexual or same-sex relationship or between former spouses or partners. Now, Trish Okereke, she's here to discuss the practical, legal, and financial approach to violence, or to violent spouses, right? That's the conversation. Practical, legal, and financial approach to violent spouses. But first, let's take a break to see what we found in the news. All right, you're still watching Ways. Now, to honor and mark the birthday of the greatest artist of all time, Italian polymath Leonardo da Vinci, UNESCO General Conference in 2012 declared April 15th World Art Day. It's a celebration to encourage the development, distribution, and enjoyment of art on this day annually. Now, art encourages creativity, innovation, and cultural diversity for individuals all over the world, and it plays a vital role in information exchange, curiosity, and discussions rather. And these are attributes that art has always had and will continue to have if we continue to support conditions that protect artists and the artistic freedoms that they express. So, World Art Day. Are you an art lover?
Oh, I'm an art lover.
Yeah, are you a collector?
I am a collector. if you come to my house, my office, you will know that I love art. Yeah, so I'm a collector. I'll say that. I just like all things beautiful. You know, I just like to see how you just put color to paper, the canvas, and then it becomes something else. Yes, I love art. So happy Art Day, everyone.
Yeah, I was going to say that. How do you feel when you walk into a room that is filled with
art?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's for art lovers. That's like being in heaven. There's this warm feeling that you get from it. You just feel like, okay, I'm supposed to be here, and you're happy there.
I love art pieces. I mean, beautiful art pieces. I'm a fan of those.
Oh, that's good.
But my friend, when you go to our house,
it's everywhere.
Oh Lord have mercy. Because the husband now started, he just loves art, but he then now started to start collecting. You know, he gave me a beautiful picture. Beautiful as a face, different colors, lovely. Every time I see it, I say, oh, that's a beautiful piece.
Yeah.
All right, so what did you find for us in the news?
Okay, 44.6% of voters registered since 2021 are invalid, says INEC. This is very troubling. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has said 44.6% of voters who have registered since 2021 are invalid. The INEC chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, said only 1,390,519, that's over 55% of Nigerians, have registered since 2021. When the commission began another registration. So Yakubu said this on Wednesday in Abuja at a media conference. This is a challenging development, Yakubu said, adding the affected persons would need to re-register. He also said that only 10 of the 18 registered political parties have notified the commission of their primaries, and he urged the remaining parties to do the needful and for all the parties strictly follow electoral laws and other guidelines. Yeah.
Let me hear your take on this first.
I think this is very, 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 very troubling. While we're talking about the elections that are going to take place in a matter of months, and then they're telling us that there are only a certain percent of valid registered voters. That is worrisome. So who is going to vote?
So, you know, remember there was a time that one of the presidential aspirants, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I think, that was him. Yeah. You remember he came out to say that go and register your voter's card is not valid.
Just some months ago.
Yeah, everybody came at him. So you are seeing that sometimes there's no smoke
without fire. And now this is INEC saying this. How can we have only 44.6? So normally we even know that when you have 100% people registered to vote, not everybody is going to come out. So now we only have 44.6% of voters, registered voters. And we know that of these 44%, it's just a fraction that will come out on the day. So how are we going to deal with this thing? We want a different leader. We are talking about, you know, bringing in somebody that would help us to rebuild Nigeria and everything. And we do not even have registered voters. I think that
this is really scary.
This is scary.
So I just think maybe everybody should just go and revalidate your, what's it called, your voters, to be sure
just
that
to be certain,
just to be sure
that you don't fall into the category of people that need re-registration, and then you only find out on the day
of the election, because that would be catastrophic.
Yes.
All right. So my story is actually quite interesting because I passed through that route when I was on my way here. Heavy security as tolling resumes at Lekki Ikoyi Bridge. They says there was heavy presence of security, I think, as at this morning, where about 5 security vehicles and many policemen had been stationed on that bridge. And this is in line with, they are supposed to resume payments from the 15th. They reopened the bridge. You could see that they were testing what's it called? The payment.
Yes.
Yeah, they've been testing. So officially, because they said they would open it April 1st, then the payment will resume April 15th. So officially, the payment is supposed to resume tomorrow. Today? Oh, it's today 15th?
Today.
Oh, it's supposed to do today.
Is the 15th,
Oh,
yes.
wow. Okay. So, but when I passed there was not so much heavy traffic,
So do you think they were paying?
Well, I wouldn't know because I didn't go through the bridge.
And then today is a public
holiday. I just went through Admiralty and went around the bridge. So I didn't go, towards the bridge. So I'm just saying that,
What do you think about this?
So I'm just a bit uncomfortable because if you feel like you still need security personnel to man that bridge toll because you're reopening, does that not tell you that there's a deeper problem? Meaning that maybe you should just sit down and talk to the people that feel hurt and offended to say, you know what,
and find a way
around it. Instead of using your security forces to
bully
you
people.
don't have to do that because this is just a clear sign of bully. You want to show of force. I will show you who is the yoga and all of that. But it doesn't pay us in any way, right?
Because when we try to bully, when we do things like this, we're trying to undermine the lives that were actually lost, during this NSAS thingy. And I don't think it's the right way to go.
Absolutely not the right way to go.
No.
So, well, we'll keep on watching them. We'll see how it goes. But I don't think anything is going to really happen because, again, the shooting and everything that happened really happened not at that particular toll.
Yes, exactly,
toll.
yes.
It happened at the other toll, so maybe that's why.
I think this might fly. I don't know.
It's relative people. Wait, so even if it's flying, why are they now putting security personnel?
Yeah, they're afraid
They're
because
just taking
they know
precautions.
that people are still angry.
Absolutely.
Yeah, people are still angry.
So we'll take a break now. When we come back from the break, we want to discuss practical legal and financial approach to handling a violent spouse. That's the conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
In raising our kids, parents should stop playing God.
The internet is actually using the people.
But when you are looking for money to help other people, then it becomes easy.
Don't rush into marriage. I always say this. You rush in, you rush out.
Family is the bedrock of every society and the essence of life.
On Today with John and Helen, we dig deep into family values in every sense of the word.
Join us every Saturday at 9:15 a.m. on PlusTvAfrica, DSTV channel 408.
With you, we play a part in strengthening the values passed from generation to generation.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on PlusTV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408 or send an email to marketing@plustvafrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshuke.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. Like, no question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event
on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
Businesses in Africa can be very challenging. In Nigeria, it is particularly intimidating, and successful builders have learned how to navigate a hostile environment to unlock opportunities. But one major challenge businesses face is how to filter through the noise and identify where their ideal customers exist. Get insight and practical steps from industry players and captains of industries. Hear success stories to help you make informed decisions as you scale your business in Nigeria. Watch Business Insights at this time on Plus TV Africa.
All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, according to WHO, intimate partner violence is one of the most common forms of violence against women and includes physical, sexual, and emotional abuse and controlling behaviors by an intimate partner. Although there is a growing body of knowledge about the magnitude, partners, and risk factors associated with the IPV, right, that's the intimate partner violence, many research gaps remain, and including patterns of women's responses to violence and the effect of the intimate partner violence on children. Expanding the knowledge base and disseminating existing and new information will lead to better programs and strategies. And we are asking tonight, what are some of these practical and legal and financial approach that we can use in dealing with partner, especially intimate partner violence, right? And that's the conversation for tonight. Now let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation, send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. You can also tweet at us at WaysShowAfrica1 with the hashtag WaysShow. All right, so I'm going to hear your thoughts, Manny, in a minute, and I'll bring in Trish. I just want to hear your thoughts, you know, because again, we talked about this thing, everybody's talking about Osinachi. God, I mean, receives her soul. We're praying for her children, you know, because right now is a loss, both father, mother, because the man, if he's found wanting, he might eventually go to jail, and there will not be anybody to take care of those children. But when you hear things like this, right, what comes to your mind first of all? You know, in how do people actually just, you know, say, I think I've had it, I need to be strategic about this person that I have landed in one chance with, you know, because I just believe any violent partner is one chance, serious one you have entered.
Okay, so for me, I just think that the cases of domestic violence, especially physical domestic violence, they're on the rise in Nigeria, affecting up to 30% of the population.
Absolutely.
Regardless of your age, your tribe, your religion, or social status. And one thing we need to see is that most of these perpetrators of domestic violence are actually victims themselves. So if we continue to talk about just these victims, we might not be able to make progress. We just see that we are rigmaroling and we're not coming up with solutions. So for me, I think that we should look properly at the reasons why these women don't leave. You know, it's very easy for people to say, why don't you leave? Why didn't she leave? You know, but we don't look at the reasons. So today I'm excited about what we are discussing today because I want us to go into it, look at not just the symptoms, because domestic violence is a symptom
of a deeper problem.
It's of a deeper problem. So I would like us to look at the root problem as well as look at solutions, because if we do not, this continues to happen and then it becomes a cycle. You see children grow up and become this person, you know. So how do we nip it in the bud? How do we stop it?
We like butcher it and just completely bury it.
Bury it, throw it away.
Absolutely. So let me bring in Trish Okereke. She is the Executive Director and Legal and Corporate Services for a downstream oil and gas company. She is a United States of America attorney who trained in the United Kingdom with master's degree in commercial law and multiple certifications in public procurement practice, international trading, and commercial business transactional law. Now, she's an international professional, contract manager, certified international negotiator. She's what we refer to as a commercial expert in private commercial practice field, with experience spanning well over 23 years practice in law. She spent about 19 years at the Nigerian bar and started her career as early as when she was 16 years old as a legal secretary in London property firm. She has been married for past 17 years and she has 3 boys, 2 of whom are teenagers, and she's joined us live in studio. And might I add, she's an amazing person, because you are, thank you so much, first of all, to lending your voice, because I hear that this is actually close to home for you. So when Manny put that call through, it was in a heartbeat. You said, I'll be here, and thank you so much. We're honored to have you here with us tonight. So again, this conversation is spanning across a lot of things that happened in the last 1-2 weeks in the media, where there was a case of domestic violence that ended the life of an amazing person. So just recently, I think yesterday, I was reading a story where a partner was talking about how she was in 2 relationships and she was beating blue black. This is like a tennis star. So she's not like she does not have the capacity to be by herself, right? So do you want to quickly touch on why do we still have cases of domestic violence? Then before we then even move into the practical, legal and financial approach to handling a violent spouse.
I think the first thing that comes to my mind why women would find themselves in situations of domestic violence is mainly, the first one is culture, upbringing. If you start off training a child in a particular set of mind, and you tell them that this is acceptable, this is not acceptable, then they know to look for things that aren't acceptable. Especially when you're dating someone, then you can say, oh no, this is not for me. Because by the time you get over the cultural mindset and you've entered the relationship, then it becomes fear. The first thing is we need to train our children, boy or girl, of the acceptable behavior with the other partner. Because most times women don't know their value. They've either seen their mother being beat up, they've seen their father abuse themselves or their siblings or even their mother, and they are not able to quantify that this is not acceptable.
It's not normal.
So they've grown with this mindset that this is the norm. This is love. So most times, they equate this acceptance to the love that they've always known. So they don't know any better. So it's from young. It's when you see, how do animals that don't actually speak words learn? They learn by nurture. They've seen their parents do something, and that's where it starts from.
Trish, I think that's actually outstanding. You said something, you said children can actually see this and think that this is love.
Because in their mind, when a man and a woman decide
my daddy loves my mommy.
So
if he does this to mommy,
it's a show of love.
It's a show of love.
This is the way to.
It's interesting that we're discussing this on a Friday where we usually talk business. It was really deliberate because, again, we've always on this table spoken to the fact that it's important for women to be financially free from a lot of things, right? It's important to have that financial liberty, to have the power to be able to earn money and all of that. So this case of a woman that has the capacity to actually literally walk in the moon, because her talent truly paved way for her before kings and queens and all of that. She could do anything with that voice, right? How are we still stuck with a violent spouse that we're not able to see that this I can actually go on my own, given that even the money is being controlled by the person, the money you are earning? So what exactly do you think would have been the thought process of that kind of a person?
I think it's important for women to know that it's important when you enter into marriage to be financially able. You must be able to own your own craft and be able to earn, and also keep what you're earning away from the marriage, because a lot of people mistake when you first marry, they're like, well, let's have joint accounts, let's do these things together, your talents that will manage. No, we need to delineate between the finances of the marriage and the love. I can love you, I can be with you, I can be your spouse, raise children, but it's actually separate from my career. It's separate from, me, making money. And it's important for women to understand that it's okay to have that line drawn, because a lot of us don't draw it. You have men say, oh, I want you to join my business, or I want to help you out, and before you know it, we're doing it together. And because the man is the head of the family, you are definitely going to be subordinate. It's very rare to see a man who allows the two, the wife and himself, to occupy that space equally, to be kings equally. This is the reason why it's important for us to keep our own way. Yes, we can do together, we can plan our future, but it's okay if we don't have to merge, our finances together, because that's where the problem starts from. It's always financial. Sure. It always. If it's not a man beating a woman or being angry with her for the money she's making and not bringing it to the center, or from the fact that you're making a lot of money, I want to get in, what are you making, bring it to the center again. It's always finances. So we need to be clever in the sense that when we enter a marriage, okay, what are you bringing to the table? Are you financially able? Do you have a path? You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be someone who starts off, having a house. But do you have the spec to make your own money? Separate from my money. Because if we get together and you're looking at me as, you're going to help me out, which is where this poor soul fell victim to, because her husband, from what I understood from the reports going around, is that he doesn't have his own. He's her manager. Why do we have to? Why do you have to come into my business? And as much as I love you, oh yeah, we'll do it together. No, let's keep it separate so that we will have less issues to argue about, less conflict, I think. So that's where I think we need to start off.
What you're saying is before we get to the point where a man or a woman gets married, we need financial literacy.
Yes.
Because I think that's one thing that is missing. People just think that the only ingredient that is required to go into a marriage is love, and they forget all other things that are important. So I think that financial literacy is very,
definitely that's the first one.
Yeah. And most women don't know anything about financial literacy. They can tell you about going to the market, about cooking, about dressing up, about fashion and everything. But when it comes to finances, investments, and all, they know nothing.
How are we going to do it as a couple?
Yes.
Yes. You see, that conversation is so very key. And what we find that a lot of, when you go to marriage classes, you start, that conversation is not properly had, because you need to sit down and say, okay,
with the experts.
What are we going to discuss? How are we going to, because we are in a world where women are getting more empowered now. Gone are those days where we would just sit at home, and even those of us who are even at home wives, we are so empowered that we're doing something with ourselves most times, and if you don't have that conversation, you will find that even if you're a home wife and you're a homemaker, it's almost like the man is doing you a favor, giving you money, but no, you are a homemaker. That skill to run the home, to manage the children,
it's a salary.
Yes. So he's not doing you a favor. So many times women don't even realize that, oh, what's your job? I'm a housewife. No, you're not a housewife. You're a homemaker. It's a job, because it takes a skilled person to do that, to plan the home, to do it effectively. So if the husband is giving you money for that, it's not a favor. You don't have to go hand in mouth begging all that. No, my salary should be paid so and so. Those discussions needs to be had.
So should we start to approach finances legally? So where we have maybe drawn up contract to say, these are the things that we're supposed to be doing. These are your expectations. We sign a contract, we sign a pact that is bound by law for you to be able to. No, because
the only thing that will drive them anyway. They won't marry.
No, it's not about driving the men.
They will not come.
And let them stay. It means that they don't have good intention.
If you both understand, so it's like information and putting it out there. If we see that, because a lot of people don't have that conversations at all, you will find that you've been dating. Oh, what do you do? I'm a banker. And what do I do? Maybe I'm a marketer for a particular company. that conversation doesn't ever happen where, okay, so how do you intend to raise the kids? Who is going to be responsible for the school fees? Who's going to be responsible for the you know, the shopping, the groceries? Who's responsible for this? It doesn't happen. Only people that maybe, you know, maybe had their marriage start from, you know, abroad, that have that conversation. Okay, I'm
because we're used to splitting the bills
yes,
abroad.
but right now we are splitting the bills. Any African home, you find that it doesn't take one income anymore to run the home.
True.
If it's one income, there's pressure somewhere. And the man is angry if it's the woman. You know, it's very rare to find men who are, you know, man enough to just say, you are in your lane and I'm going through this right now and I'm going to rise up eventually. But that pressure is on the woman to keep hunting and keep, you know, going to get the money home. And because they're not earning, they're getting angry every time, you know, it's disrespect. But that's what we found ourselves.
I hate
now.
that word, disrespect.
Yes.
What does that mean? But you know what, Trisha, I was going to ask you now. Let's bring it back home to this conversation. There's somebody going through a violent relationship. She's currently inside. You know, because all these things you said now is preventive measures.
Yes.
We are already inside.
Okay.
You know, you have entered the one chance.
Exactly.
You're already inside that marriage. How do you start to approach everything you do, both on the legal side and financially? How do you start to look out for, since you already know you are in an abusive situation? How do you approach
I think
that?
information is power. Information is power, because most times women don't leave their marriages for fear. First of all, is that maybe they don't want to lose the status that they have from being in the marriage, because there's a stigma when you leave. Oh, don't follow that person. Don't follow that person. That's one. And there's also fear when they've had kids. Especially men, they will threaten you with the kid. I'll take your kids from you. No, they need to understand that, you know, women by law are actually regarded as a primary caregiver.
Yes.
So the law favors the women.
Yes.
So
Most
you can actually
don't know that.
They don't know. They just think that, oh, I'll take it. Okay. Funny enough, if the woman decides that I'm going to get up today and pack my kids and go away, nobody can bring the kids back. They are with their mother. And the law regards them as the primary caregiver. Even the man cannot come and drag the kids back. If you use your clout and whatever you have, your means, you know, all they will say is, oh, it's a domestic matter. The kids are with their mother. It's not a kidnapping. They've gone with, the mother has chosen to take the kids with them. What women fear, and they need to debunk this fear, is that, oh, I'm not going to have the same lifestyle that I had. Well, guess what? The lifestyle you have right now may be looking good, but you are in fear. You cannot close your eyes for fear of you have not done something. What now? You hear your husband coming, you hear his honk of his car, you quickly run to go to bed to pretend like you're asleep. Is this what you're going to be living for? And don't forget, as your kids are seeing that, if you cannot live for yourself, live for your kids. Because you are setting them an example that they would take on when they grow. So you need to leave, and if you can. Now, I'm not saying that all men that have perhaps passed through an abusive position, because they're the ones abusing. And most times, you know, it's the men that are abusing the women. Now, there are situations where women are abusing the men as well. Before a man talks, a woman has stopped because he knows that the man is never going to raise his hands. But even at that, we need to understand that, you know, our kids are our own. We are the primary caregiver that we regard as. The law is on your side. So your fear is just your comfort.
Yes.
That's pretty much what it is. You need to just decide that I'm willing to be
uncomfortable for a while.
And then let me say something. When you leave, you can approach the courts. Lagos State is actually very good with this. They're very good with,
they have a
you know,
welfare.
they have a welfare, association of bill. They have hotlines. They have all sorts. Even when you go to court, the court favors you, particularly in Lagos State. You can take yourself and approach the court to have child support paid. So if you are not in a position, financial strength, you can actually have the man pay, because going out now, it's not going to be easy, you know, by no stretch of any imagination, which is the reason why we always advise women, be up and doing. Love doesn't conquer all. You know, it really doesn't. And as much as you love, you need to also love with your head space as well. You know, you are in a marriage, a man tells you don't work, be doing something. I know of a very good friend that her husband never wanted her to work for almost 19 years. She never worked. But while she wasn't working, she was amassing masters. She finished her degree. She had 2 masters, had a PhD. One day the man ups and comes and said, you know what, I've been having an affair with my secretary. I have 2 children now. And stopped coming home. She dusted herself up, picked all the certifications and the certificates she's acquired, and went and got a job. And she was able to cater for her kids. And she wasn't in a financially, straight where all of a sudden she needs the man, the man can trust you as the wind goes, which is what a lot of women lose.
Yeah, but even at that.
You know what? Let's just go on a peep out, peep in break. We'll be right back. Alright, so if you just tuned in, we are having an amazing chat with Treasure Kereke on practical legal and financial steps that you can approach towards a violent spouse. Now let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation, send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-4663. You can also tweet at us at WishYouAfrica1 with the hashtag Wisho. Mani, you were going to say something quickly.
Yes, so Tricia, I was going to address what you just said. Your friend who got married, had a master's while she was at home and everything. So I think that is one lucky story amongst many.
Definitely.
Because how about if she had to stay in the job market, or what do they call it, the employment space for a long time without a job?
Absolutely.
I'm of the opinion that when you send your child to school, your child comes out, they should get a job. Marriage should not stop you from working.
Yes.
I don't see how getting married affects your career. I don't actually see that. So I think we should actually let these women know that you can get married, you can have children, you can care for your children, at the same time you can work. Because the men are also married, the men also have children, but the men are also working. So when we continue to fan this belief that women, after having children, should sit at home, then we'll have many women who are desperately stuck at home, stuck in very bad marriages because they don't have the means, to live, to cater to themselves and their children in the event of any issues. So I think that
there's a justification that men give when they tell women not to work, when they leave school, because especially if you've been probably dating your boyfriend for a bit and you graduate and he proposes, all of a sudden you find yourself marrying before you're getting the job. So your career hasn't started, but you're going into the marriage. Now, what the men will usually say is that, we want you to concentrate on the home, we want you to concentrate on the kids that are coming, and I think when you are that young and naive, and it's not even necessarily...
It's an easy story.
Yeah, it's an easy sell because, okay, he wants me to stay home, he's going to cater for... no, if he's going to be doing that, then he needs to agree how much is your salary for doing that. Because that in itself is a job.
Yes.
Staying home is not an easy thing to do. And if he's telling you not to work, and most times... women, they give up that right to get a job. They stay home, or the husband says, you know what, if you really want to get a salary, then start working with me. And what I always say to that is this: you need to be clever and then assess. It's okay, I'm going to be working with you, I'm going to be seeing everything you're doing. It's not easy working with your spouse. It's very rare. Most times you're almost like a doormat because it will treat you worse than even the secretary. The secretary goes home away from, but you are resuming at work together. You are going home together. So not only are you talking about the domestic issues of, did you cook today? What did you cook? How did you clean and cater to the home? You're also in the office too, being shouted at, you didn't pay this, you didn't pay that. So it doesn't end. Where would the view of what you're seeing of your spouse, you see him as maybe the MD, CEO, you come home, you see him as a husband. So it erodes, even the love, dies very quickly. After 1 year, 2 years, you begin to see the man in a different light. If he calls your name, you eye roll, what now? So I think to keep the love for the longest, it's just better for you to go away, have a breather where you work, come back, So I don't advise you, working all the time together, unless you have a unique man that is able to keep the lines, separate, where you come home, oh, honey, what are we having today? You go to, when you get to the office, oh, Annabelle, so what are we doing? It's very difficult to have a man be able to exist in those two spaces.
I think women should have their jobs. Have your jobs.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask that, so there are a lot of women that have gotten to that point where they never worked.
Okay.
They never had any kind of experience. And all of a sudden, maybe their kids are now old enough to be by themselves. And they want to be reintroduced back to the workspace. They want to start earning a salary and all of that. Is there, because the Nigerian law for employment, it doesn't really support those kinds of women. Are there things we can start to do to help encourage such women, you know, where, you know what, yes, we know you have zero work experience, right? But you see, this and this and this, probably when you go through maybe a few trainings and all of that will brush you up, and you know, immediately you start to earn. Can we start to think in that direction?
Yes, definitely. Thankfully, these days we have online certifications. We have, in fact, the world is much smaller now. You know, unlike back in the day where you literally had to find a course to go and do Yaba Tech, or you have to go to an institution to go and get all this, you know, a certificate for you to be able to work. But these days, you can literally take an online secretarial course. You can take typing course online. You can do a lot. You can get a lot of certificates online now that can train you. Now, if you don't have access to computer, you can actually join a
and so
computer
someone will
center.
be willing to employ you at entry level at your age.
Yes.
I'm thinking by that time you're approaching 35, 37, 38, you know, that kind
So
of
it's
thing.
information. So most times, a lot of women don't tap into the resources of the close contact they have. The first person you need to tell is your contact, your father, your mother, your pastor, your friends. Oh, I'm looking for a job. I need to work. You know, I've been suffering this and this for this number of years. I need to get out and go and earn money now. I need to do something. You know, a lot of times people don't realize that, you know, you can talk to people in your circle and even get a job. You know, and if you don't tell them, you don't necessarily have to go into the whole tale of woe that you have. You can just give them a little tidbit so that they can, sympathy is key here. You know, tell them where you've been, what you've been doing, how you've been limited. Because when people don't know, they will, I guess, they will judge you in the same way as others who are the same age. Meanwhile, those ones, they carried on with their careers right from the get-go.
But that would be good. That would be the right thing to do, because as a HR expert, if I see someone come to me and tell me that she's been raising her children for the past 15 years, and I have someone else who has been working for the past 15 years, I'm going to take the other person who's been working for the past 15 years.
But guess what? You will give them a chance for a lower position, though.
Probably.
Yeah.
Not.
So, probably not. So, it's expectation also.
We need to let these people know that that gap in your CV is very dangerous.
It's very
to
dangerous,
your career.
yes. But we are here now. What about those who are here now? So we're talking to those who are here now. You know, so they don't remain stuck. They need to get up and get going. You know, and the only way to do it.
If they see that flicker of hope,
yes,
that I might just be able to find something to do. It might not be as it should in terms of maybe my age, and if I was following through a career, maybe by now I'll be director level and all of that. But if there's a small ray of hope that I can find something to do, however little the income is, and it's a decent job that can start a career at that particular age, I am sure that a lot of women will walk out some of these violent relationships, right?
I think it's giving it a chance, because you just never know. You know, even when you're starting your career as a young lady, it's something you're taking a chance on anyway. It's just that most times you're always thinking, oh, I'm too old. Oh, I've not had enough experience. But it doesn't really matter. You will find someone. I mean, I know particularly that I am of the opinion that you might come in and you've had a 15-year gap. Most times people lie in their CV anyway. You know,
don't lie.
They do. I found that they say you can type, you know, 105 words.
All the time.
They do. So you are thinking that, oh, this person looks so competent. No, they're not that competent. What the difference between you and them is not that far, especially when you're an intelligent person.
It's the
confidence. You need to pick yourself up and keep trying. And that trial, I keep telling people, you need to tell your story. Your story is going to be the game changer for you, because you keeping it away and not being able to, or just lying.
This is a society that they tell you, hush, hush. No, they tell person, say your husband, they beat you for a house.
Well, guess
they
what?
Talk, because, I mean.
Okay, so let me debunk that. The first empowerment to having your spouse continue to abuse you is your concealment. You have concealed your ability. See, it's either the woman they're embarrassed, they're ashamed. What are you ashamed for? Did you beat yourself? What did you do to deserve the beatings? It's not your fault. So instead of being embarrassed on behalf of the man, tell your story. It will save you. Because maybe some men who can still be rehabilitated, shame will put their hands down. Because by the time they leave their hand and they remember that you are a parrot, they will think twice. Why did the black eye, you cross? Mama Nonso, how did this black eye come about? You know, I hit myself in the door.
Thank
but if
you.
you say, Mama Nonso, it's your brother Samuel. You have been punching me since, so the man will first, the person will immediately adjust. The man, he might even want to give you, I say, ask him what I did. He said, I don't mind him, he didn't cook it. He said, is that why I have a black eye? Ask him for me, please.
So
that's exposure.
Yeah.
And anywhere you go, expose him. That's the only weapon you have. Because you can't strike him back. They are the heavier, powered sex. We are the weaker sex. Most of us, I mean, I know there are some women that are strong, but most of us, even when the strong women, there are certain places that a man will punch you.
I said my 13-year-old niece today, he grabbed my hand. I was begging him. I said, please leave me. He said, I want to tell you that I'm stronger than you. I said,
already.
And he's just 13.
Imagine.
I said,
so they imagine a fully grown man.
Now imagine when he's
holding in a particular way.
But Trisha, I was going to ask about financing, right? When it comes to earning. Because again, some of this violent relationship is not that the woman is not even working. Let's say she's working, but her earning power is now higher than the partner. How should she approach that violence? Because I see a lot of women, some of them will carry their salary at the end of the month, they go and hand over the money to the man. Is that a wise financial decision?
So you see, the thing is, when we're in an abusive relationship, we think of ways to help the man to stop what he's doing. Because and with that same mindset, you think, even if you don't know, in your mind you think it's your fault. That's why you're trying to please him. You're trying to earn his love. I say to people, even when you're not in an abusive relationship, if you have to earn your spouse's love, where will you end?
Yeah.
It's a choice. You chose to love this person. I've chosen to love my spouse. They should have chosen to love me. I cannot earn it. I shouldn't have to. If I'm not going to try.
And if you're not earning it, you choose to love yourself.
Yes, because when you are trying to give your money, it's not going to work. Because you know what? The day you give your money and the day that is not complete, just that tiny reason, he will flare up. Where is the money?
Beating.
You are living you are in bondage.
Absolutely.
So free yourself. If you couldn't earn it with just him just choosing to love you, certainly you cannot love it by giving him money.
Your salary.
It's not working.
So
it's not going to work.
Let's take some comments.
Okay. I just think that we need to break the cycle.
Definitely. By educating our young children from young, this is not the way.
So do you agree to, sorry, before Manny takes that comment, because we're talking financial approach, do you agree to secret property acquisition, secret bank accounts, where you just have some kinds of, you're just storing money?
Okay, so I'm the proponent of the idea that what is secret? You don't have to use a microphone to loud it, but you've mentioned it at some point in time. If he doesn't remember, then that's not your fault. I mean, you want to acquire a piece of land that, I'm looking at land, so and so, or I'm opening a bank account. I have some payment that I'm expecting. By the time it comes through and you've mentioned it, is that secret? Is that still secret? Because it's your money. You don't have to take permission. So for me, I'm more of the mind that once you've mentioned it, it's no longer secret. Or I don't want it to be. I even have a very close colleague of mine who, is very bitter about his wife acquiring lands, acquiring cars without his knowledge. One day, just see her driving this fancy car. But you've mentioned it at some point that, I was gifted something. I've not brought it home yet. You've concluded the sale. It's now here.
I think you're about to queue.
Is it still
they will come for you.
They will come for you.
I mean, I just think
about to
it's not secret, is
here.
it? You mentioned it now.
It's not secret.
In passing.
Oh, I should detail it.
Well, guess what? I know someone that does that all the time to his wife. He just mentions it in passing. And I'm like, so when is that supposed to be? It was mentioned before.
Yes. And you remember that conversation. But you didn't tell me the details. Oh, I didn't think I had to.
No, you know what? I think that the ideal situation is I'm supposed to put my cards on the table. You're supposed to put your cards on the table. Don't try to cheat me. I'm not going to try to cheat you.
They always will, though.
Yeah, well, when you start trying to cheat me, then we'll go doing it the way you just said.
Thank you. So, justified. When you have gone there, we always get to that level. Yes, we always do. So you start off opening your card, you start off with a joint bank account and everything. When you now see that you're the only one who put in and withdrawal is, you're like, okay, this is not. I know great couples who have joint bank, which is working for them, but one size does not fit all. I have examples where people say, but this other person is having joint bank. Great for them.
Yeah.
I choose a different way, and it's okay.
Absolutely.
Because one size doesn't fit all. We are not all the same sizes. We shouldn't be expected to do things the same way. Just the same way men don't like to be compared. Oh, this person is so romantic. Why would you now expect me to be jointing accounting with you when you know that you don't want me to compare you to another person who is romantic? So let's just debunk the expectations. It's all expectations. We just need to debunk it.
So first of all, don't go into a relationship, talk less of marriage without getting deep and decisive action that will favor you and your kids whatsoever. It's irrational after getting into a relationship and the devil just humps in. We all need to be prayerful in the world of today. God bless every woman. I once hit my partner because of her running mouth, but it was resolved amicably. Bobby Kennedy from Jalingo.
Bobby, you.
Bobby, you.
So that's the justification a lot of men give. You know, I've had comments where people say, oh, women, they talk a lot. And their running mouth, their vicious mouth is equal to me striking them. How? How is
your mouth should run too?
Why?
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Beating me.
Why don't you use your own vicious mouth too, or learn to get a vicious mouth as well? You know, why would you think it's like me saying, you know, someone hit me, I take a knife and stab the person? It's not. They don't commiserate. They're not equal. So we are. Because we are the weaker, there's none. We are the weaker sex. So what weapon do we have? We can't punch you.
You
All
know,
we have is our words.
So you talk back at us instead.
Right.
But the thing for me is not even about the weaker sex. That is a good point. But I just think that nobody should be hitting anybody.
Nobody.
Men don't hit the women. Women don't hit the men.
But you know, they're justifying that, saying, oh, because your mouth, you're running your mouth, you are, you know, saying all sorts of insulting things to me.
Yeah.
The only way to silence you, really?
Is to
It's
shut
a bit
you
all
down.
day.
But
Keep
that's a
asking
very big
questions.
show of cowardice, and it's a big show of, what is it called? That the person is still a child. Because, I mean, you
can't
should
even
be able, yes, you can't
control yourself.
communicate.
Yeah.
If there is an issue, why can't you just sit down and have a conversation?
And we tell our kids, you know, violence is not the matter. Don't hate. You should come and report. Now you're an adult. Your wife is running her mouth, and you punch her.
Now hit her.
Does that make sense?
Doesn't make any sense.
Just no
to me.
justification.
Manny,
for
let's
that.
take some comments.
Okay. It says, good evening, my dear beautiful sisters of What Are You Saying ways. This domestic violence of a thing, we can see it from two different angles. Sometimes the cause of the action is being caused by the woman herself. Some women cannot control their mouths. They are too insultive. That is why their spouses beat them. My dear beautiful sister, Trisha hit the nail on the head. She said Trish hit the nail on the head. She made mention of upbringing, and it is very vital. But all the same, no man born of a woman has the right to hit a woman. It is wrong. For crying out loud, these are somebody's daughters you are beating. And whether the man likes it or not, there are consequences that are attached to it. Finally, no man should go free after assaulting a woman domestically. If a man beats his wife, the children are watching, and when they grow up, they will end up beating their spouses. Because they learn it from their parents. Learning such things are bad and shameful. My name is Daniel Ilo, Ways regular fan. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Daniel.
You have
Let me take another comment from Adi.
Can I just
Quickly
make sure
say
that
something.
women, please, men also, there is no justification
Yeah.
for hitting a woman.
Forget about
If
the
you
sharp
want
mouths.
to lower yourself to an animal, walk away. Please. She's vicious with her mouth. When she starts, shut the door and walk away.
Yes.
And let her be shouting at herself there.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
Absolutely. So good evening, ladies. This is for your guest. How do you deal with a spouse that wanted to just spend family joint account lavishly once it reaches a particular amount account balance? This seems to be annoying because you all agreed at first to use the money for a family blueprint plan. So you've had a plan, and this madam will just say money the account. She goes on a shopping spree. How do you handle that?
Is this from a woman's perspective?
It's a man that's asking the question.
Well, the truth of it is that you stop putting money in their joint account. Again, have a conversation that this is what you need to pay for.
So once you notice your spouse isn't financially disciplined,
you just start giving them the money that they need for what they need it for. Now, there are some women that will be giving money for what they need and use it for something else. Then you just have to come up with a plan where, you know, I'm not sure what the household can be, but if you have like a cook or someone that can order groceries for you, if you know that the woman is not responsible enough, because there's some women, you give them 200,000, they will spend 50,000, the remaining 150 they will use to sew clothes, buy clothes and do whatever. We know such women, you know, and in order to be able to, or they owe debt somewhere, they're going to use it to pay it off, and they will only bring 50,000, and the man wouldn't notice until 1-2 weeks into the month, and where is fish? No fish. Where is meat? Did I give you 200,000? Did no reach. Of course, you know 50,000 is not going to buy much, so the man will eventually notice. If you have a woman such as that, then of course joint account does not work. I don't believe in joint accounts. There are some people that it just doesn't work for. You know, in this kind of case, it doesn't work. There's no need to have a blueprint. A blueprint is only as good as if you both obey it. If someone is breaking the code, then use a different method. The method is that give her money specifically for the things she needs, and then she shows herself irresponsible not to do those things, then you change it again and say, okay, you know what?
Let me just order the thing myself.
Market woman, Mama Linda, or something. Bring the thing and pay directly.
Two people cannot work together unless they agree. So
That's
if they're not
it.
going to agree, then they should do things
no
separately.
And we
There's
need
no
to
point.
recognize the weaknesses we have in our spouses as well. So, for example, women also need to be cautioned. When you know a man drinks, for example, and he's irrational when he comes home, he's been drinking, and you notice there's no point shouting and trying to correct him at that time. Girl, you need to learn your audience. He's drunk, he's irrational when drunk, go to sleep. He came home late, that's not the time to tell him he came home late. Go to bed. The next day, when he's sane, so recognize that as women, we shouldn't put ourselves in harm's way. I know women who, they start running their mouths and then they see the men going crazy and they're still talking. And even sometimes when the man is trying to leave, they go and block the door. Girl.
Okay. We need to be careful the way we create narratives around violent spouses. For example, your guest says she can't earn the love of her spouse, that it's a choice. That same way, men don't want to be disrespected. You said walk away. Some women would block you and dare you to hit her. That's why she said do not walk away. Do not block anybody. I rather think spouses must learn to be mutually highly respectful of each other. This is John from Lagos. John, I think she has answered you. I understand there shouldn't be a reason for that a man should beat his wife, beat a woman, either verbally or physically. But please tell the women not to be running their mouths, because not all men know the right thing to do in that situation. This was Peter. Okay, now we're done. I don't know. You back.
I don't know if a woman can stop running her mouth.
I don't know. I think the most important thing we should take away from this is self-control.
Absolutely. And on all parts.
Know how to hold yourself.
We ran out of time. Before we go, thank you so much, Trish. Time just flew by.
Just like that.
Thank you, Manny. Before we go, ensure you follow us on Instagram at Wayshow Africa. You can interact with us further, drop a comment. More importantly, follow all our engagements on social media, like, share, and invite our friends and family to watch the show. We'll bring back Trish again, don't worry. So in case you missed today's quote, you're in a relationship to be happy, right? To smile, to laugh, and to make good memories, not to be constantly upset, to feel hurt, or to cry. This is from an anonymous person. We'll see you guys live on Monday. Remember that about the relationship. Remember that. If you're not having that, then you have to walk away. We'll see you guys live on Monday to bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408, or send an email to marketing@PlusTvAfrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
And now, let's join ace broadcaster Mamode Akuga as he takes us inside the Niger Delta.
Hello out there and welcome to the program. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. I'm your regular host, Mamode Akuga. Into this package, we bring you as usual some of the most interesting stories trending in the Niger Delta. And we take up with a report on lawyers' reaction to a legal action taken recently by the Akwa Ibom state government to foil the divestment bid of American oil major ExxonMobil. Our second report takes a look at how a recent hike in the prices of petroleum products has increased the cost of living across states in the Niger Delta. We will, in the course of the program, bring you reports on trending political issues in Delta and River States, respectively. Inside the Niger Delta,